WKU President Gary Ransdell announces his retirement in 2017. There's much to be done in the next 17 months. Hear it all live at 6.
And later, sirens and smoke were abundant on campus this morning. Find out which building it was coming from.
And we just can't seem to break the rain and the snow pattern. Or will we? I'll have your forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
This is News Channel 12 live at 6, where commitment makes the difference.
Good evening and welcome to News Channel 12 live at 6. It's Tuesday, February 16th, and I'm Carrie Blanton.
And I'm Darby Bean. Thanks for joining us tonight. Chris, I feel like it's rained every day this week.
You know what? It has rained or snowed somewhere in Kentucky for the past 9 days in a row, and that has really led to a lot of the messy conditions that we are still dealing with, and PFT Cam captures the messiness that I'm talking about. The sun is set, but we're still dealing with some of the snow showers out there. It was rain earlier today, but it did turn over to some snow, and that is finally moving on to our east. But it did put down some hefty snowfall accumulations, if you consider 1 to 3 inches hefty, to our west, and that has led to some winter weather advisories in the western parts of the state. Now the radar should come up on your screen at any moment, is showing the rain and the snow across Kentucky. That is now moving on to the east of Bowling Green towards portions of southern and eastern Kentucky. The regional view shows how this Clipper system zipped out of the Missouri Valley earlier today and across Kentucky and Tennessee. That's also going to be moving to the east with the rainfall that came last night. That's the rain and the snow that you see across the northeast right now. And here, once again, we have our snow system moving on. More quiet weather is coming into our pattern. We're going to be talking about that a little later in the show, so stay tuned because we're going to talk about the snow showers that are ending. We'll talk about what kind of frontal passage we have on Friday, and then there should be a really nice weekend warm-up, and that's something we will all be appreciating around here. So, Carrie, Darby, back to you.
Thanks, Chris. It's only Governor Matt Bevin's second month in office, but he has already made quite the stir. I took a trip to Frankfort to find out why his new proposal is causing concern among public universities across the Commonwealth.
But we have to deal with a 4.5%, $3.5 million cut this spring.
That's the harsh reality public universities across the Bluegrass are facing after Governor Matt Bevin's new proposed budget.
The governor proposed a rather austere budget, a rather hard budget for most state agencies, requiring a cut even in the remaining years of the 16 budget.
With the majority of those cuts coming from the state's public universities and going toward the deflated pension program.
That the budget is sort of a zero-sum game. If you favor somebody, maybe it takes away from somebody else.
UK President Eli Capilouto spoke to the House of Representatives about the negative effects the cuts would have.
Folks didn't say they wouldn't do it or couldn't do it, but they just talked about how hard it would be.
WKU President Dr. Gary Ransdell agreed they would be difficult.
To do an across-the-board cut, we're no longer in a position to be able to do that without doing irreparable harm to the institution.
Kentucky State University President Raymond Burse revealed his university could be forced to declare a financial crisis or prepare a closure plan.
It is up to the legislature to see that doesn't happen in this tough time. It's a tough time for everybody. It's just a little tougher for them.
However, the budget cuts aren't set in stone. Both the House of Representatives and the Senate must come up with their own versions of the budget before coming together to compromise on one.
Chairman Rand has told the university presidents that we'll work with them.
The whole process could take until mid-April, leaving the universities just 2 months to make the necessary budget cuts.
There are a lot of ways we can get at this. It's all painful, but there are ways that we can approach it.
Senior Vice President for Finance and Administration Ann Mead said WKU will not make any definite decisions on their budget until the state budget is approved.
The impact of Bevin's budget has serious threats for WKU. Reporter Corey McCauley tells us why the budget has folks in liberal arts concerned.
The trend, at least from his perspective, is very clear, so that the danger is present.
Governor Matt Bevin's state budget proposal for the next fiscal year includes a potential 9% cut from state agencies, including universities.
I see this as a real threat.
Officials here at Western Kentucky University are seriously concerned. I sat down with the interim dean of Potter College to talk to him about his concerns for the future of liberal arts.
And I see that there's going to be some hard times ahead for institutions like WKU, and particularly for institutions that have liberal arts and sciences as their core.
In his announcement of the budget proposal, Bevins says there will be more incentives to electrical engineers than French literature majors. There just will.
Folks who do sort of feel like the current governor that French literature maybe ought not be what you pay your money to study, you begin to see those kinds of declines.
Declines Potter College has already seen. Enrollment for Potter College is at a 10-year low at 3,225 students.
What we have in the liberal arts and sciences, this is the very foundation of a university education.
Governor Bevins' budget proposal may have a drastic impact on the liberal arts, but get out your wallets, because it means students could have to pay more money to attend college.
The response that universities have to make to these sorts of budget cuts is to increase tuition.
In the past 10 years, tuition at WKU has increased over 100%.
And I think students and their families should very legitimately be in an uproar about this.
For News Channel 12, I'm Corey McCauley.
The number of cases of the Zika virus is on the rise. The Zika virus is spread through 2 different types of mosquitoes. One of those is found as far north as Ohio. The Center for Disease Control says the most common symptoms of Zika are fever, rash, and joint pain. Officials have confirmed cases of the Zika virus in Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, and West Virginia.
Inevitable that it will probably, happen because, we've got some of the same mosquitoes, the Aedes variety that spreads that particular virus. We've got lots of them. I don't think it will get as bad here as it did in Brazil. We're a little better about having air conditioning, screens on our windows, that sort of thing.
There have been no confirmed cases of the Zika virus in Kentucky.
It's a philanthropy that brings WKU students together every year. This year, one supporter, along with his mother, showed their appreciation. Reporter Catherine Gardner has the story.
If it wasn't for St. Jude, I probably wouldn't be here.
At just 2 years old, Anthony Butera began his lifelong, reoccurring battle against neurofibromatosis, a genetic disorder which causes tumors to form anywhere in the body. Now 26 years old, he has won the fight against NF1 7 times.
The easiest way to explain it is tumors on the lung of the nerves of the body. So they found one behind my right eye, and they wanted to remove my eye immediately the next day.
Desperate for options, Anthony and his mom decided to get another opinion, but this time at St. Jude Children's Research Hospital.
The very first time that the doctor saw him, he was so excited because he expected to see a child that was already blind. When he saw him, he said, this child has vision and we're going to save it. It didn't take very long to know that once I walked through those doors at St. Jude, we were home.
And it's donations and events that help keep St. Jude's doors open. Events such as WKU's annual Up Till Dawn finale, which will take place here right behind me at the Preston Health and Activities Center, where students and supporters will stay up all night, all with the same motto in mind: cancer never sleeps, and neither do we.
It's a year-long fundraising event that culminates in that finale. That's kind of the party. Woohoo, we've raised this money, and we're gonna have a fun night and celebrate that. We have set a goal to raise $65,000 for St. Jude. That's $20,000 more than our goal last year, so that's a big step up.
As for the time spent and the money raised by supporters, the efforts never go unnoticed with families of sick children, like the Butera family.
Cancer is hard enough. We just thank you for making it possible for the research and to be able to hopefully find a cure for cancer so that no kid ever has to go through this.
If it wasn't for people raising money, it wouldn't be for someone like me who would be where I'm at. It's not just charity trying to ask for money. That money helps a kid see another day, be able to find a cure. Money does a lot more than you think it does.
We're getting in here, getting our chemo.
For News Channel 12, I'm Catherine Gardner.
If you're interested in getting involved with WKU's fundraising efforts for Up Till Dawn, go to fundraising.stjude.org/WKU.
Campus police and WKU's facilities management are giving an all clear to the library after a smoke hazard. This morning, pipe insulation causes smoke to form in Craven's library. According to facilities supervisor Joe Keith, the pipes became hot and caused smoke to form in the building. WKU student John Mark McElroy was in the building at the time of the incident.
I was on the third floor of Craven's printing off some papers for class, and the fire alarm went off. At first, a staff member advised us that it was probably just an error and there was someone working on the first floor, and it turns out that there was a fire that popped up when they were installing a pump of some sort.
Facilities supervisor Joe Keith says the problem was resolved within moments. And spring fire season is just beginning in the state of Kentucky. Western isn't the only one taking precautions relating to safety. According to the Kentucky Division of Forestry, officials are enforcing burning laws from now until April 30th. The statute states that it's illegal to burn anything within 150 feet of woodland or brushland between 6 in the morning and 6 at night. The motion bans burning during times when conditions are likely to cause a fire to spread. Officials are encouraging Kentucky residents to take as many precautions as possible when burning, especially during this time of the year.
Coming up on News Channel 12 Live at 6, how WKU students relieve stress while the cold weather approaches.
And reporter Paige Hagan sits down with President Gary Ransdell to look at his accomplishments in the last 20 years. Following his big retirement announcement, our Paige Hagan sat down with Dr. Gary Ransdell, giving you an exclusive report of the mastermind that led WKU's transformation.
It's impossible to ignore WKU's transformation over the last 2 decades. It's even more impossible to ignore the architect that built an evolution.
There are a lot of things professionally that we take a lot of pride in and feel very good about, that we have indeed met the board's challenge in 1997 to lead a transformation. For the time we spent and all we've invested here, I could not possibly be as all in anywhere else as we have been here.
All in. That's how WKU president plans to tackle his last 17 months before passing the torch in 2017.
Our passions won't be any less in retirement than they have been while we're working.
20 years under his leadership helped put WKU's name on the international map.
And the numbers are there to prove it. Since 1997, WKU's enrollment rates have climbed from over 14,000 to 21,000. Applicant and graduation rates have since doubled, and retention rates have climbed nearly 10%.
Yet many sleepless nights have come with recent budget cuts, demanding immediate action.
2006 was the last state budget that we received incremental funding for higher education. It's been a lost decade in terms of state funding. We'll come up with our strategies, but do our best to avoid it. And in the meantime, I'll have some legislative hearings where I'll make it clear the pain that this is going to create on our campus and try to make the case.
For Ransdell's tireless efforts, many Hilltoppers think of their president as a legend.
I have students calling and coming to the office and wanting to get selfies and so forth because I won't be there for that photograph when they graduate.
In Bowling Green, Paige Hagan, News Channel 12.
As WKU's 9th president, Gary Ransdell will retire with a long list of accomplishments. Ransdell in 2008 established the first independent honors college in the Bluegrass. The college now holds over 1,400 students. He expanded study abroad programs, and WKU now has 1,400 international students. He created 4 new doctoral degree programs, and the campus has already completely transformed. Ransdell's administration spent nearly $1 billion in renovation since 1998, with even more on the drawing board in 2016. We can't forget his success with athletics. The biggest move came when he negotiated a move to Conference USA in 2015.
The race to find the Hill's 10th president is underway. WKU's Board of Regents announced this morning they've formed the final committee to take on the mission. March 2nd is the board's deadline to submit their individual recommendations, and WKU hopes to announce their next president by March 2017. Ransdell's time at WKU will soon end, and with his newly found moments, he plans to spend them with his wife, Julie, who he fell in love with at Western Kentucky University. Love was definitely in the air on Sunday, and campus was preparing in a unique way. WKU prides itself on being a leading American university with international reach. But how far does that international reach actually go? According to the WKU Floral Design Shop, it may be further than you think. Many of the flowers they use have quite a journey before arriving at the floral shop on campus.
They come from all over the world. We try to buy local as much as possible, but like our tulips come from Holland. Most of the roses come from Ecuador or California. Also, a lot of the greenery, our leather leaf comes from Texas.
During a typical week, 1 or 2 deliveries arrive at the shop. However, during Valentine's season, the floral shop received shipments of 5 or 6.
On Valentine's Day, WKU's Instagram spread the love by sharing love stories that started right here on the Hill. Whether meeting at master plan, in class, or in a residence hall, many couples are going strong, just like President Ransdell and Julie. Last year, a Clover study named WKU the #1 college campus to fall in love. We want to hear from you. Did you fall in love at the Hill? Tweet us at WKU News 12. And we saw it begin to snow outside earlier, but the cold temperatures could soon be going away. Chris Reese joined us after the break with an in-depth look at your weather.
We have dealt with the rain or the snow for what has felt like non-stop now, and it's still going on across Kentucky right now, especially pushing east of Bowling Green towards Lexington and points south of Interstate 64. They're dealing with more of the rain and the snow today, and it came down heavy at some times. It's actually caused quite a bit of issues on some of the roadways. In fact, in Madisonville, there was a bus that did slide off the road, and we've also had some travel issues in Grayson County. So definitely take it easy if you're out and about and running into some snowfall out there. Now here is the regional view that showed this system diving out of Missouri and Iowa earlier today, and that is now pushing east of Kentucky towards points to our east and southeast. Nashville, Knoxville, they're all getting in on the rain and the snow as of now. Now temperatures are actually pretty warm. We're 32 in Pittsburgh, 44 in Nashville, 38 in Louisville, as well as 35 in Charleston. But when we bring that closer to home, we are just a little bit cooler, 35 in Lexington, as well as a chilly 34 degrees here in Bowling Green. In fact, the temperatures have come down with some of the snow, and the snow has finally started to end. Here's what's going on. I want you to pay attention to our south and west. Notice places across Mississippi and Louisiana are warmer than they were this time yesterday. That should be your key as to what's going to be changing in our weather. And here's how that starts out. Here's our rain and snow system zipping through. That's going to slide to our south and west and die as it does so. Then we have this cold front coming in. We'll have an area of high pressure to our north and an area of high pressure to our south come Friday. And then once we get you out of Friday and into your weekend, an area of low pressure out west is going to expand and bring some warmer temperatures into Kentucky, and that'll be quite the treat for the weekend. So here is how we're going to get some of that in here. 30 degrees tonight, snow showers, but we are not as cold as we have been. Those snow showers are also going to come to an end. We're 43 tomorrow and mostly cloudy, a bit warmer with those winds out of the west at 5 miles per hour. Let's break down the next 7 days now. Notice we're gradually going to warm up. 67 by Saturday, that could be cold. Some of us might actually push 70 and break some record highs. And then for next week, we have rain, and already by Tuesday, you notice the wintry pattern coming back. I'll keep an eye on it. In the meantime, back to you guys.
Thanks, Chris. A snowstorm that caused havoc for many students on campus Sunday evening forced Western to close all of its campuses on Monday. Many students woke up to a text message Monday morning stating classes were canceled due to snow. Many places on campus closed early on Sunday, which also happened to be Valentine's Day. However, the snowy roads didn't stop many people from traveling. Bowling Green police said they responded to over 35 accidents on Sunday. The average number of accidents in Bowling Green is around 7. And if you're nervous about driving in the snow, AAA gives tips on their website. Some of their tips include accelerate and decelerate slowly, keep at least half a tank of gas in your car at all times, know what type of brakes you have, and don't stop when you're going up a hill. And it's softball season. Karen Iser will round out the bases when we come back.
Can you help me with this? My new dad teaches me
For
all kinds of
WKU
stuff.
men's basketball team as they fell to Marshall in overtime on Saturday night. Saturday's loss marked the second game in a row the Tops fell in the extra period. And even with a career high of 25 points from WKU's Frederick Edmond, the Tops still couldn't finish into the final minutes of the game. Tops coach Ray Harper had some tough words to say about the loss.
I feel like we miss a lot of golden opportunities. And I don't know how many shots we missed at the rim, but there were a number. And I'm not talking, probably you couldn't count them on one hand.
Now moving from Bowling Green to Huntington, the women's team battled the Thundering Herd on Sunday. And at the start of the game, the Lady Tops took a 10-point lead. But this lead was cut short when the Thundering Herd went on an 8-0 run. However, the Tops battled and kept a lead throughout the entire game well into the final minutes. And the Lady Topsters secured their victory of 80-76 and still hold their number 2 spot in CUSA. Their next matchup is Thursday against Old Dominion. Now we'll move from the court to the diamond. The softball team traveled down to Auburn to compete in the Plainsville Invite over the weekend. The Lady Tops finished 3-1 for a final turnout over the weekend. Their one loss came on Friday against 4th-ranked Auburn, and because of a few errors and walk-ons, the Lady Tigers scored 19 runs on 7 hits. But the Tops didn't let that stop them. They went on to win their next 2 matchups against Butler and Furman. The Lady Tops will return to the field at home at their own Holiday Inn Hilltopper Classic on Friday. Their first face-up is against Austin Peay at 12:30. Now for a full rundown of sports action, you can tune in the Extra Point on Thursday at 6.
Thanks, Karen. Coming up, we have one last look at your weather.
Chris, please tell me the weather's going to get better.
Well, you know what? Once the snow ends tonight, we warm up gradually. In fact, by this weekend, we could push 70, upper 60s for sure. So it's definitely looking warmer than we've actually been for the past couple of days. So that's definitely some good news.
You better be right about that.
I hope so, because definitely I'm waving the white flag when it comes to this wintry weather around here. It is definitely time for
that'll
that.
be a welcomed warm-up for sure. I'm so sick of this snow.
Yes.
Well, that's all we have time for tonight. Thanks for making News Channel 12 your source for news.
Have a good night.